Welcome back to Rating the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Brad.
And I'm Jerry, and today we are looking at Brad's top 20, his number 18 favorite movie. Okay, and his number 18 is JFK. Director is Oliver Stone, released in 1991, written by Jim Garrison, edited by Josh Hutching and Pietro Scalia. Starring Kevin Costner, Gary Oldman, Sissy Spacek, and basically every actor at that time. This movie is about a conspiracy theorist take of the assassination of John F. Kennedy Jr. So, I'll start by saying why I think you like this movie.
Okay.
And we gotta have a come to Jesus. You like a good conspiracy theory.
I do.
You really do. Whether it's aliens, JFK, Bigfoot, or...
I find them fascinating.
You do. And I think that of the conspiracy theories, that for me, this one is the most believable, that the government had something to do with his death.
I think if you look at the facts, this one, by technical definition, there is a conspiracy here.
Yeah.
There's not a single... all you have to do is look at the actual factual information. There was more than one shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Just by that fact.
What do they call the shot?
The magic bullet.
The magic bullet.
Just by the factual evidence, this is a conspiracy. Now, there are about a billion theories on what happened.
Of like what actually happened.
Like, was it the Cubans? Was it the CIA? Was it, the mob? All of those things. I don't ever really get into that because I don't think there's a great deal of evidence enough to weigh it one way or the other, but it's very clear there was more than one shooter.
Right. And I think that what this movie does is it kind of takes a little bit of every theory out there and kind of meshes it together.
That's exactly what it does.
Yeah.
Because he's got the Cuban angle, he's got the mob angle, he's got the CIA angle, and he really weaves it all together, and it's an entertaining movie in that regard.
So here's my take on this movie. I think it's a glorified documentary miniseries about the assassination of JFK. I feel like if it didn't have the actors that it has in it, and you had B-level acting, it would have been on the History Channel.
How many movies could you say that about, though? Especially historical movies.
Right.
About, real life things. You could say that about a lot of movies, so. Yeah,
but this is it's a lot of reenactment.
There is a lot of that, yes.
It's basically reenactment.
Well, it's because it's done in a courtroom for the most part.
Well, it's done a lot in...
To me, the interesting part about it is the way that the filmmaking changes when you're looking at past events versus the current time of the movie, which is in is it 1971-ish? Or no, it's not quite. I think it's still in the 60s. It's still in the 60s because I was thinking
it was 3 years after.
Yeah, so this happened. Is 65, 66, somewhere in there. But so when we're in 65, 66, the film looks one way, and when you're looking back, it looks completely different. I think that's a very interesting filmmaking device.
Well, it's Oliver Stone, right? So Oliver Stone, he does a lot of edits and cuts of real footage and just filmed footage, and he kind of mixes it all together.
And it works.
It does work. For me, it's not my favorite film. I don't think I would put it on my 100 greatest favorite films. I do find the subject matter interesting. I feel like that documentary you were watching, I was getting bits and pieces of, was just as good.
There's a lot of them. Holy cow!
Yeah, and
so we watched this on Tubi. So like right after we watched it, like all these like recommended,
Yeah.
like all these like JFK documentaries. So I watched a couple of them.
Yeah.
Because it was
It
kind of there.
Yeah. What else? What really propels the movie is the acting. Like I said, like everybody at that time that was like a big deal was in this movie.
Yeah, so if you've ever heard of the game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where basically, the concept of the game is like if you've got like 5 or 6 people and someone picks an actor, like when it's your turn, you pick an actor. And then like everyone, the other players in the game, they all have to do like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. So if you pick just any random actor, basically what you're trying to do is in 6 moves or less, link them to Kevin Bacon. Why Kevin Bacon was chosen, I don't know. He was just, he's just...
Because he's been in movies with a lot of other people.
Yeah, he's got a really long career and he's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But you could, like, there's so many actors in this movie that I've actually, I used to play this game a lot, actually, when I worked, like, in video stores and stuff like that. There used to be, like, you used to play JFK rules. So you would play the game without being able to use the movie JFK, because that's how easy it could become to tie Kevin Bacon, who's in JFK, to so many other movies, just based on the fact there are at least 25 recognizable actors in this movie that you've seen in many other movies, that some of them are in like a scene or two.
Yeah. It's interesting too because I think Kevin Bacon's performance is really good. He's always really good in whatever
great. I've never seen him give a bad performance.
Whatever he's in, and he's just like it always kind of flies under the radar. I feel like he was phenomenal. Kevin Costner was great.
It's one of his best performances.
Yeah, I think so. Sissy Spacek was great as usual.
I mean, everyone.
Jack Lemmon was in it for a bit. He was great.
Jack Lemmon's in it. Like Walter Matthau's in it for a scene.
Yeah.
What's
John Goodman?
John Goodman is really good.
Just Joe Pesci. When we talk about things that we noticed this watch, that was one thing I noticed. Like, it was really interesting watching Joe Pesci play someone who's you're so used to seeing him like play these tough guy roles that when you see him
like completely paranoid.
Yeah, completely paranoid and stuff with like an obvious toupee on and it's just
because he's got cancer, so
yes, and he's totally paranoid and he plays it really, really well. He plays a good sleazeball.
You have Donald Sutherland, who I think gives maybe the best performance in the movie because he kind of ties everything together.
Yeah, he's kind of like the deep throat.
So he's this guy, and he's clearly a problem. Most likely, either he's an amalgam of several different people that Jim Garrison came across.
Probably
because Jim Garrison wrote this, so
yeah.
Or he's a completely fictionalized character that is there to give you information that Garrison got throughout, his research or whatever, in coming to trial on this case. But he ties everything together. Like, he builds, like, this is how the conspiracy potentially worked, but like, it's so matter of fact and makes sense that you're just like, you're totally drawn into it. And he's in one scene. And there's so many people that are in one scene.
What about Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman plays, he just like disappears. He plays
Lee Harvey Oswald.
And he just
he hardly has any like speaking scenes.
The only lines that you hear pretty much Oldman utter are stuff that you actually heard Oswald say, like, when he first got arrested, the stuff that he actually showed, like, on network TV. That's really about it when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
Just a lot.
Yeah.
Of, like, there's no bad performances.
No,
in this
there
movie.
really
Not
isn't.
a single one.
It's very, very well acted. I am not a huge fan of Oliver Stone.
And I'm perfectly honest, I'm not either.
I think this is probably one of the movies I can watch that I don't get annoyed with. I didn't really like the one with Woody Harrelson.
Oh, Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, that movie irritated me. And I get really irritated with a lot of editing. It just jars me.
I don't like filmmaking.
That's not what did you get from the this watch?
From this watch, it was more of just remembering how many people are in this movie. Like, oh yeah, I forgot he had a part. Oh yeah, I forgot she was in this.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh yeah,
Laurie Metcalf.
Laurie Metcalf's in this. Like, you're like going through it, and you're just like counting Oscar nominations, Oscar wins in this movie. It's like off the charts how many people in this movie are very highly, regarded actors.
Yeah.
Not only at that time, but some of them are still working today. Like, a lot of them are still working today. A number of them, the older ones, have passed at this point.
Yeah.
But just the sheer number of people that are in this movie
is a lot.
I mean, this, like, the only movie, like, in recent times that I've seen fairly recently that kind of rivals this is Saving Private Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Saving Private Ryan, if you were an actor between the age of 20 and 40 and you're a man, you're probably in that movie.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. But, like, this one is just, like, so many people are in this movie.
Lots. And I thought it was a bit too long.
It's a little bit too long.
It stretches a little bit.
I think you could probably cut 20 minutes out of this movie.
Yeah. There were some spots where it was losing me a little bit. Also in there, it's kind of he made it in a way where it's kind of fast paced, even though it's not like it's not action packed or anything like that. It's just very fast paced. So sometimes the theories and what's happening kind of got away from me a little bit, but it was good overall. Just not not something I would come back to over and over again.
Yeah, I watch this one about every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
For me, I really enjoy, movies that have really great ensemble casts.
Mm-hmm.
This movie has a really great ensemble cast. I like a movie that doesn't talk down to its audience.
Yeah.
He has some expectations of you, like you were saying, like some of it got away from you. He has some expectations that people going into this have some knowledge about what happened.
Yeah.
About this. It's a pretty, it's one of the, especially like in American history, it's one of the biggest, like, events in American history.
Yeah.
It's easily top 5. What happened?
Do they teach this in school?
I think they gloss over it. I don't know. I don't really remember us going into great depth. But I mean, regardless of you think whether you think this was a conspiracy or not or whatever, just the very event changed how American politics have kind of played out the last 60 years. Mm-hmm. So it's just a really to me it's just a really, really interesting film. To me it still holds up. It still feels like when I first saw it. I didn't get anything really new out of it because I've seen this quite a bit, and I actually saw this about 3 years ago, something like that. So I watched it a little more recently than some of the stuff on my list. And it's not one of those movies that's kind of changed with age. There's a lot of movies that you watch them when you're younger, and then when you're a little older and a little older and a little older, and you get a different experience every time. This movie isn't that kind of movie for me. No. Because it's mostly a telling of an event. Mm-hmm. And it's also an event that I wasn't alive for. So, however, whenever I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it through a rearview mirror. So, it's not like I'm not remembering a personal tie to it or anything like that.
Gotcha.
What'd you give it?
I give it a 53.
Okay.
And yeah, the reason why the score was low was rewatchability for me, and it wouldn't be on my top 100.
That's fair.
And yeah, I think that's it. If you have seen JFK and you'd like to let us know what you thought about the movie, please do so in the comments. If you'd like to know, ask Brad questions about why he put this on his list, please do so in the comments. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate it. If you'd like to talk to us directly, please do so at ratingthelist@gmail.com. But for now, I'm Jerry.
I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.